Started quick one. It was a quick one. Well, today we have Bret Baucher, formerly and still known as Coach Baucher. A lot of people know him as Coach Baucher. He's a basketball, football coach and stuff like that. How's it going, man?
Good to be here. Appreciate you guys inviting me out.
Yeah, dude. I was pretty surprised when you were like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on." And it was really simple because usually you have to like kind of talk people into it and stuff like that. But nope, you were just like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it."
It's one of those things. Like it just kind of piqued my interest a little bit. You got a couple of former players that are going out and doing something pretty cool, and said,
"Thank you.
Why not?"
Yeah, sweet, yeah.
So you're teaching. What are you teaching now?
I'm a high school intervention specialist. So
about that, yep.
doing, I get all the behavioral ED type at-risk students.
What is ED?
So, emotional disturbances.
Okay.
So just a lot of kids with a lot of trauma, tough backgrounds, not a lot of parental support at home.
Okay.
Just kind of those rough backgrounds, and it's absolutely awesome. I love it.
Really?
I love it. Yep.
I mean, I know like you just said like rough backgrounds, but like how do they sort of pick and kind of who gets
qualifies?
Who qualifies?
Who gets to come to my room?
Yeah.
It usually comes down to one. Most of them have probably on probation.
Okay.
Or been on probation.
Okay.
Done some JDC. Just haven't made it through the regular classroom, successfully whatsoever.
Yeah.
Usually behavioral more than, intelligent wise.
Yeah.
So that's one part. So they might have been in the middle school program, and then they would come to me. And then a lot of them are just kids that just can't make it in high school for whatever reason. And then we take them out of that traditional setting and put them out with me in the cap building out there. And it's a small setting. They get to be, everything's online curriculum. There's no homework. So we just kind of set them up to succeed. We'd much rather see a kid go through and earn that high school diploma, even if it's an alternative fashion, versus letting them just sink in the traditional classroom where he's not going to make it. He or she's not going to make it, academically. And then, what's the first thing happens when school gets tough? I mean, you start to act out.
Yeah.
And then it becomes tougher for other students too, So kind of killing two birds, one stone that way, giving them a chance and then still not allowing them to be a distraction to the other students in the classrooms too. So.
Right. Now, is it their attention span's probably all over the place. Is it kind of hard to keep them focused on getting on, because it's online school too, it's on their own. I mean, is that a difficulty?
At times. It depends on where they're at in their in their journey of high school. Are they juniors or seniors, or are they freshmen or sophomores?
Okay.
The freshmen or sophomores, to kind of combat that, we pair with the job training program, which Steve Stewart runs and Braylon helps out with.
Okay.
So they might spend half the day with me online, and then the other half they're going to job training and hopefully learning some type of skills. They do. Nice. They run the coffee shop at lunch. They go out to a couple different businesses, the Moose, and do some things, help cook.
Hold on. Coffee shop at school?
Yeah.
When this happened?
Wait, what?
When this happened?
There's a coffee shop?
They have a coffee shop. They've partnered with Big B Coffee, and they come
No
in
way.
That when you first walk into the main building, where it used to be when they sell pencils and paper there or whatever.
Yeah. They never used that.
No, now they use it. They sell coffee there twice a week.
Can anyone get it?
Yeah, they're selling it to.
No way.
Sell it to all the students at lunch, and then they make runs so. We emails, and if we want to purchase coffee for those days, whatever, in the morning they'll make their runs around school and deliver coffee, whatever.
Wow, what a luxury, this guy.
I don't drink coffee, though, so it doesn't affect me at all.
You don't drink coffee?
No.
Really?
No, I'm like the only teacher alive that doesn't drink coffee, I think.
I don't really drink coffee.
I can't.
No. I mean, not many people do.
That's
a lot of people do, but like...
That's odd to me that they're letting, like, 16, 14-year-olds drink that much caffeine.
I'm telling you, everything's changed.
No wonder they have ADHD.
It's just completely different. I don't.
No, are these like lattes and stuff, or is it like everything?
They're doing iced
coffee?
And
what?
Iced coffee, hot coffee, all the different flavors. I mean, they're adding something all the time.
So this is why they want to pass the levies. They want a bigger coffee shop.
Yeah.
Bigger Big B's inside the.
But I don't think that has anything to do with
No.
that
No,
part. But it's been cool because it gives some of these kids a chance to interact with kind of the general student population that a lot of times they would never have a reason to do that. So they're learning some soft business skills and going that way too to hopefully prepare them to find some type of job where they can do something after high school.
Nice.
So
very nice.
So that's kind of the younger ones, and the older ones that are able to get a job. We really push that. So go get a job. Go get a fast food job. Don't care. Now take the lunch shift because once you come in, and everything's on goal setting. So they're online curriculum. Here's your daily goal. Everything's individualized. So, Jake, your goal might be 7%.
That's really good.
And Frank, your goal might be 10% because you're a little further behind than what Jake is.
Okay.
But everything's individual, so they know exactly what they're asked to do every day. So to get that goal, it might be you could do it just focus solely on math that you have to do, or I'm going to just do a little bit of math. I'm going to get 2% in math. I'm going to get 3% in English and 4% in science. However they want to do that. Like we're totally flexible that way. I don't care. At the end you have to have 21.5 credits, and you've got to have this, and this, and that's all posted so they know. And here's the class you have. Knock it out. And Google's your best friend. I mean, that's part of your textbook. We're here to help you, but we want you to put forth the effort to try to go through this stuff and learn it. But then if they hit their goal and they have a job, now get out of here. Now you're motivated.
That's awesome.
So now go work.
That's great.
That's perfect because a lot of kids just don't want to go. Aren't made for high school at all.
So we're taking kids that they're dropouts.
Yeah,
they're dropouts, and now they're graduating, and they're motivated. They're successful. Now they have a job. Now they have a job, and they're getting a diploma, and now they're figuring out how to work a little bit. And so now instead of working at McDonald's, now I want to go work at a factory where I'm going to get some benefits and some real hours and get a real paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been really successful that way. It's pretty cool.
Now, like the ones who don't want to do any of this, that's got to be a struggle. I mean, what do you do with those guys?
For the most part, because it's that small setting, and it may take weeks and it may take months, but usually we're able to break down those barriers and develop some type of relationship where we can connect on some level to where they figure it out because they see what's going on around them too. That, I mean, all Mr. Baucher's asking me to do is get this goal, and then I get that, and then I get kind of free time on my own, as long as I'm not distracting anyone else. And
that's how I have the problem is just other people around them.
Yeah,
it's almost just like they need to keep this like stigma of themselves,
right?
Like this tough guy or whatever.
So put your headphones on, man. Listen to whatever music you want to, as long as I can't hear it. I don't care what it is. Go to YouTube, get a song, whatever. Get focused, whatever it takes for you to knock out your stuff.
Wow, that's pretty sweet.
And that's probably helps them the most, just because the ones. They have their goal, and it's like whatever the pace they work at, it's all up to them.
Yeah. And then it's got to be varied. I mean, some of them struggle intellectually, so they may try a quiz or test a couple of times and they can't get it. Well, it's still a classroom, though, and the program allows me to have access to it. I can see what they've gotten right, what they haven't gotten right. So we go through it, and a lot of them, they may have reading difficulties. So it's just a matter of me rereading the question to them and rewording it. And now all of a sudden it clicks, So we can have a conversation about God knows what subject, whatever it is. and we'll talk about it. And now we just did verbal corrections, and so that I can give them a different score. And now they can move on. So there's still a lot of reteaching and different, but it's totally individually based, like because everybody's at a different stage. So it just can't be like, hey, we're gonna have algebra class today.
Mm-hmm.
It's theoretically, in a perfect world, that would be ideal, but
that's the problem with the No Child Left Behind in the 90s. Just forced that mindset to where like everyone has to work at the same pace.
Yeah, and now they're getting away from that. I mean, they preach differentiation. So, same thing. You guys are in the same class, and one of you's doing really well, and the other one's just kind of at pace. I mean, theoretically, you should be getting harder work or more work.
Yeah, exactly.
To move you faster. At the same time as like, how many kids are really motivated that like, man, I want that extra work. Like
yeah, right.
It depends on if it's something that you're really into, or like if it would have been a business class for me, I'd have been heck yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want more calculus work. I don't want more Latin work. You know, like I'm doing this for but not because I love it, just because it's trying to help prepare me. And so you got to take it all with a grain of salt, I think. But
how'd you land this position?
How'd I land to get into education in the first place? That's a better question.
Yeah, there you go.
I went Ohio Northern, got my business degree. I wanted nothing to do with teaching, coaching. That was never on my radar. That's what my dad did, and just kind of at that age, I'm gonna blaze my own trail and never follow in those footsteps.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't a good thing. I just wanted to do my own thing. And you're going to go into business. I'm going to be rich, and all the, you know what I'm talking about, Frank. I mean, it's those things, and I went and did it and had a plan. I knew I wanted to own my own business, and so started a tent rental, and
I remember that. I helped you a couple times there. Yeah.
So did that whole thing for 7-8 years, and it was awesome. I have nothing like building a business from absolute scratch. And this is one of those things I had to do. Like I had that itch. I had to do it. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. And if I didn't have kids, I'd maybe still doing that, but being a seasonal business and everything during the summer, as the girls got older, it kind of got old.
Priorities.
Yeah. It kind of your little shift and everything.
Yeah.
But doing that, being seasonal, that allowed me to have my winters were pretty open. And I kind of got suckered into helping coach basketball the one year. And, the next year, well, I don't have anything going on. I might as well substitute teach too during the, and so after doing 7-8 years of that together, it just kind of, those passions kind of changed a little bit, and thought, I really do want to do this. But some of my long-term subs, as a sub, I mean, you can sub all day long in any district in special ed. I mean, they can't find enough subs. They can't do all that. And so a majority of my sub jobs were in special ed.
Okay.
So it just one of those things, and I just liked it. I love working with those kids that haven't been dealt a great hand, and try to give them an opportunity to make something of themselves. So that's where it started. So then I went back to school and got my intervention specialist degree, and got lucky that through those relationships from subbing that a couple of the principals were looking out for me, and
nice.
So that's where we went, and now I got the job that nobody else wants, but I love and nobody else wants. So it's a great deal.
It's perfect. Yeah,
it's a great deal, and it works perfect for coaching. I mean, it's phenomenal that way, because I mean, I don't have the lesson plans. I'm not grading papers.
Oh yeah.
When the kids are having a good day, like, I'm not up there lecturing, so I'm kind of at their beck and call and making sure, but at the same time I can spend time, watching film or working on a practice schedule or whatever it is for that day, and kind of multitask doing that same thing. So that works out real well that way.
That does sound like a sweet gig right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for me and what I want to do, My first year teaching, I co-taught math half the day with Coach Fowkes, and
I never had Fowkes as a teacher.
I've never either.
Yeah,
it was a great experience. It was a great experience, but it's just one of those things. I don't think I could sit up there and teach a subject every single day.
the same thing over and over and
I
over.
could probably do history. That's about it.
History would be fun.
But like, history, I mean, you're telling stories and you can change it and evolve it. Like, you're teaching algebra or geometry. Like,
oh, you got to do it to the book.
This is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one thing I will say I thought we did a pretty good job of, and what I kind of maybe opened Coach Faux's eyes to, was just how to apply that to the real world. Because there was so much stuff we did in geometry and algebra that I said, well, I use this every day.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's exactly the thing that you can use every day.
Right.
Calculus was just kind of like, you might use this.
Yeah,
probably not.
Never. Yeah, unless you're going to come back and help teach it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's 100%.
I mean, it's one of those cool things.
And you learn it easier.
Right.
When you can
doing the
picture
real world stuff.
like what you're actually going to be using it for.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's my biggest thing with anything. So that's what I like about reteaching some of those kids when they may struggle with something. Like, we're going to go off topic here because we're not teaching tests. We're not worried about these guys passing tests. You know, all right, here's what we got. You got X amount of dollars. You want to buy a new car. How much are we going to have to save? How much? What are your payments going to be? Like, just make it real world. Groceries or whatever it is.
Kind of like that episode, the episode of Office. Go back to Office of Kevin. I don't know if you guys seen that. Like, he can do math when it involves food.
Oh yeah.
But when it doesn't, he's terrible. He can't do it. But he can do anything with food.
Right.
What does he use to count it?
It was like pies or something.
Yeah,
shit
pies.
like that. Yeah, pies. He can do. How many pies are here? It was hilarious.
Oh my god.
It's kind of like that almost.
You've got to find something they're into, man.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
some of them are big into video. A lot of them are big into video games and all this different stuff that is not my cup of tea. But I'll sit there and ask questions and learn something about it just to make that connection so we can keep moving forward. Just because they're not going to sit there and talk sports to me either.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just that's not what they're into either. But if you just kind of show them you do care and that you do want to know something about them. They're really good about opening up and getting stuff done.
Absolutely.
That was like when I had Dave Scott. I farmed with Dave Scott a lot, so I knew him before. But so I would talk to him all the time. Like during class, I would ask him stuff because I knew him already. And so that was AP Chem, and so he would really get into like detail about when this stuff could actually happen. He'd be like, "Oh well, this might happen if like lightning hit a telephone pole or something like that." He would kind of do the same thing, but in chemistry. I thought he was an amazing teacher because of that. I learned so much better when you can draw it from real world scenarios.
Oh, you got to be able to connect it. You got to be able to connect it. And I don't know, maybe my business background or like I've always been very business oriented, and I just think you can turn anything into business.
Oh yeah,
I truly believe that. No matter what subject you're in, and to me, math is money and money is business. So like, it all comes back to whatever,
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if you're farming or selling peanuts or putting up tents. It all comes back.
Well, even personally, it's like you're personally a business. You have to.
You're marketing your brand every day. You're marketing your brand every day, and how do you want people to remember you? How do you want people to think about you or talk about you? And
not just that, finances wise, you have to do your own taxes, all of that jazz. Like you're a business yourself.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
And probably not a lot of people. More people should picture themselves as a business. I think that can really help the world.
I mean, you are a business. You gotta schedule your times.
Yeah.
Schedule all of your money. Because if you spend too much, that makes absolutely sense.
So many people don't look at it that way. Yeah. That's not their perspective, and that's not neither right or wrong. But that's just not how a lot of people look at the world. And that's how I see it. So it makes more sense to me. I mean, no matter what you're doing with your coaching, teaching, working for somebody, it's still all the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of picture life as just a big game.
Yeah,
that's kind of, you have these many games in it that you have to conquer yourself.
Right, but you're always trying to advance to that next level.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
And it doesn't have to be big wins.
No,
it's little things.
Sometimes the little wins feel the best.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and we talk about that all the time. Whether I do with my classroom, with any of my players. It's the little things every day that make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
So you have to get comfortable doing those little things consistently every day to really get success, because we live in this instant gratification world. But that's not really how the world really works, though.
No.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
That's how it works for your social media and all your entertainment purposes. But as the real world doesn't work that way.
No.
Not at all. You have to develop a real relationship if you want to find a husband or a wife someday.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, that's a big deal.
You got to work hard to even get anything going.
Right.
Like social media is creating like a weird generation of instant gratification.
Yeah, it's good, but it's really bad, because it's good just because we all can communicate instantly. Bam, it's there. You got it, but it's bad because of that instant
I think it's the
gratification.
worst thing about it is how we at least grew up in a time where it wasn't constant.
Yeah.
Like we grew up before technology was literally in front of us constantly all the time. So I think the biggest thing of downfall of it all is we're training a generation just to be completely short attentioned
Oh, for sure.
and instant reward everything they do.
It's an amazing thing. Like, obviously, I'm older than you guys. I mean, I grew up before the internet, and like there's this special generational thing, and I don't get on to that, what they call us or whatever, but, born in the early 80s, where we grew up without a lot of that stuff, but then we were also young enough to when it came through, like we knew how to operate it, not like our parents that can't, some of them are still technology illiterate, So, I mean, we grew up, I remember first time I had dial-up internet was at a buddy's house, and we were juniors, seniors in high school, And
I had dial-up internet till I was a junior in high school.
I got my first cell phone when I was a sophomore in college.
That's weird.
And you got that then, and you didn't use it. You didn't carry it with you.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It was nights and weekends. That's it. After 9 or on a weekend is the only time you ever used it, because you only got like 99 minutes for the whole
month. That was like everyone would have the Go phones and stuff. I remember that.
So you didn't use it, but you could call home because you got free long distance after 9 or on the weekends, and that was it. But that's what you used it for. That was an emergency or to have long distance then.
That was like 6th, 7th grade for me.
Yeah.
And then right after that, then it kind of like the plan started coming out. You saw
Right.
like the big telecommunications join in. It was like Verizon. You had unlimited texting. I remember when that. You remember when they just unlimited texting
I remember that,
opened up everything.
Oh,
A can of worms.
Texting first came out, like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Why would you ever text somebody when you can just call them?
Yeah.
Because it was a foreign thing. Not like we had instant messenger and
Oh yeah, AOL and crap.
Right. I mean, that was huge during college, but you were on a computer then. It was still, there was a big difference between a cell phone and a computer. I mean, they were completely separate. And not anymore, obviously.
The weird thing is I remember my dad's cell phone. He had to pull the antenna out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, now that would just, I don't know how many kids would even know what it was.
No.
Well, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
When you talk about, social media and everything else, when I was in high school, if you wanted to call your girlfriend, or even before that, if you had wanted to call a girl, like, you went into your kitchen and got the phone off the wall and dialed the rotary,
Nice.
which rang into their kitchen, and 99% of the time, mom or dad answered the phone. So you got to ask, hey, is Susie there? Can I talk to her?
Yeah.
And then they sit there, and mom and dad's 10 feet away the whole time. Like, there's no privacy. There's no nothing.
Or somebody else is on the line.
Right.
Too.
They had
their brothers listening.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a totally different thing. Like, you had to be able to call somebody and actually communicate. And
think of that. My dad was telling me this a couple weeks ago. He was like, yeah, when I was a kid, when you called another person, you had to make sure nobody on the block was on the same line.
yeah, my wife had the same. It was a party line.
Yeah. So like you had, Susie, get off the line.
Right.
She's down the road. Or
The
something
neighbors
like that.
could be on it.
That's crazy.
It was. I didn't have that.
No,
But
I didn't
she
either.
grew up
That
in
was
the country,
yeah.
but she talked about that too. I was like, what? It was bad enough. Like, if some
I
older, younger,
remember.
but the party line was
I remember calling
Party line.
this. I remember
Party
who
line.
it was. Lydia Crone. Lydia Crone, if you're listening, I remember calling her house because I had a thing for her. It was like 6th grade. I remember calling. Is Lydia there? Is Lydia there? It was high pitched Frank.
Right.
Boy, that was the most intimidating thing you could possibly do as a small boy.
No doubt about it. And, Dad answers the phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you never know what they're going to say, what they're thinking, or,
Why is a boy calling here or something like that? You just imagine the dad with a shotgun or something.
Right. You always pictured the worst. But
now it's not. I don't think kids will never experience that again.
They won't.
No,
and then what came with it, though, is you memorized
Oh, yeah.
Numbers.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I knew every one of my friends' phone numbers. Not at that time, we didn't have to dial 419 first. So it was all 586. But, so, I mean, you knew everyone's phone number.
Yep.
You knew all the businesses in town's phone numbers. And you just memorized them. You didn't have anything to put them in. Like, you just knew them.
Yeah.
What do you think that memory is going to go to now? Like, kids don't have to remember that. Like, maps.
Emojis.
Nobody,
there's all going to emojis.
I literally don't understand what most of the emojis mean.
Oh, I don't either. I have no idea.
I can't do them.
I think I've sent maybe in my lifetime maybe 20 emojis.
I've sent them a few, but I always am hesitant because, like, I sent one I never really sent before. Somebody kind of gave me a weird eye back, and I was like, "You know what that means?" And I was like, "No, I thought it was happy." They're like, "No, dude, that means you're pissed." It's like, "Oh,
I'll stick with the thumbs up. That's about as far.
Yeah,
That's about as far as I'm getting right there.
Everyone knows that.
The
Thumbs
people
up.
one I just find are weird.
The people
the
one?
ones with the faces, like
like
smiling or something like that.
Like the full body ones.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them are pretty messed up.
I think it's backwards. Like we're not the Egyptians did pictographs.
Oh, that's exactly what it looks like.
I guess so. Yeah.
Imagine like this is 1,000 years from now. This ancient civilization. They're going to be deciphering these emojis. You'll be like, oh, this one is. It's like a cucumber with the water. Like.
Isn't that sad?
Cucumber with the water.
And they'll be like, oh, this was praising the god of water for plentiful harvests. That's what it's going to be.
This man, I couldn't communicate with whoever I was trying to talk
Exactly.
to.
Yeah.
It's like
They can
crazy.
be the problem I have with them. They can be interpreted so many different ways.
Well, and that's what creates so much drama.
Yeah.
With social media and all that stuff is how do you take it? And certain people read into things way deeper than what it was intended for, vice versa.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at school, that causes 90% of the drama at school is all social media related through a cell phone.
Yeah.
And they're
That's
trying
weird.
to get rid of them, but
I only remember that towards the end of high school, when the internet on phones started really becoming.
well, everybody's got a smartphone. now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's something that
I mean,
we never
everyone
even really lived through.
has a smartphone. I mean, even like young
oh,
kids.
they all do. I mean,
It's ridiculous.
it's financially though, it's the way to go. I mean, you don't want to have 8,000 devices. There's a lot of pros and cons through all of it, but I mean, I had a BlackBerry when I had the tent rental, and I remember my sister-in-law. She's younger. She's a couple years older than you guys, and she wanted a BlackBerry. What the hell do you need a BlackBerry for? I said, you're a high school student. I'm trying to run a business off this thing, and why do you need a BlackBerry?
I had a Palm Trio in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Palm
It
tree.
was like it was like a Windows BlackBerry. Pretty
Right.
much.
When did it have the pixel stick or whatever?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yep. But I was so into computers already. Like
Yeah.
I was like side loading stuff onto it. So it was kind of like something that took up time too.
Right.
But how weird is it that when we were in high school, they allowed us to use our phones during school, and that was right when they started to. Remember when you would get
never able
suspended
to-
for having your phone?
Yeah. It would get like taken away. You get in trouble for it, and if you had it, I remember those.
Are you allowed having your phone?
That's been the hot topic of school, and at the high school it's a little different. Up until high school, you're not allowed to have any phone at all.
I would
Really?
hope so.
Yeah.
Good.
Which is a good thing.
Mhm.
I think there's a place for some of the phones with the technology and the different things you do in the classroom, but they get used and abused.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the policy is now is really you're not supposed to have any, but it's up to teacher's discretion.
Okay.
And then to enforce that, and
I just feel like it'd be
Excuse
such a. I know how much of a distraction I would have had it
right,
if I had a smartphone of today
yeah,
in my pocket. That would just mess with your head. You would always think like either like a phantom vibration or something like that.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, people probably all of them probably have it right to
No.
right corner up on their desk.
yeah. See, now they're not supposed to be out.
They're not supposed to be out.
They should be in your pocket.
Okay.
And not used. And I think it's been a lot better. I haven't heard as many complaints about it. Like, I'm in my own little world out there. Like, I get into the main building like twice a week.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
that's pretty sweet.
It's fantastic. Like, I don't go in
The
there.
cat building's nice too.
Oh,
it's air conditioned. And
yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like, and then like my kid, when there's not a weightlifting class in there, some of them like to go work out and they can go burn some steam.
Sweet.
And,
Nice.
you know, it's just another way to burn energy. In the spring, a lot of times, if somebody gets a little huffy, you know, all right, let's go take a walk, and we take a lap around the track or two, and
Nice.
sit. So, I mean, it's set up like perfect for my clientele of students. But so I'm not in the general population a whole lot there. My kids all have cell phones, because they're listening to music on them and doing different things. Like,
yeah, music is big.
But I have no problem controlling them. Like, if they're not getting done what they need to get done, they know that they're going to lose their phone.
And that just comes back to respect. I mean, they respect you, so they're like, okay, well, I need to get shit done, so I'm not going to use my phone right now.
Right. I want certain privileges, so I'm going to get done with what's asked.
Absolutely.
And it's a major advantage, and I don't know the perfect answer to how to get all the classrooms kind of in that type of format, you know, because you got kids that can't function in that general classroom that are doing really well. Now, are they going to pass standardized tests? No, they're not. But I don't care about that. Like, that's not the end goal for me.
Testing, I don't think testing really...
I think testing's
doesn't
foolish.
Yeah.
It's like Einstein.
It doesn't
Einstein
show
said you're not gonna test a fish on its ability to climb a tree.
Yeah,
which I think it's exactly it.
Yeah. Testing doesn't show how smart you are or how intelligent or what you can and can't do. It just won't. It never will.
No, it won't. And that all comes back to, how do you communicate with people? How can you do different things? You're like that whole business thing. You're like, a buddy and mine, we graduated business school together, and both of us, had good business sense, but neither one took probably classes seriously. We probably should have, you know, 3.5 kids instead of should have been 4.0, you know, whatever. But at the end, we both had jobs lined up 6 months before we were going to graduate. And the 2 or 3 kids at the top of the class that had complete 4.0s, and on paper, they're just perfect. They didn't have jobs.
Yeah.
No jobs. So you know what they're going to do? Now they're going to go get their MBA, because they've got no other option just to go get more schooling, because that's what they're good at. They're good at school. You know, like, I'm going to go talk to somebody. I'm going to put this piece of paper to work. You know, I mean, and to me, that's the way testing kind of comes back to. Like, you can be a real good test taker. That doesn't make you a good employee.
100%.
That doesn't make it doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a lot of things. You know, it means you're a good test taker.
And that's why that's why women succeed better in school, because they're better at memorization. And that stuff is it's book smarts is just memorization at its core. So the more you can memorize, the more you can ace a test.
Right, absolutely.
No doubt. I mean, my wife was roommates with all pharmacies.
Oh yeah, you have to be good at memory.
And that's all they were all very intelligent.
Oh yeah.
Very intelligent, but they all have just superior memories. I mean, it's fantastic. But go be a doctor, you know, where you're not on call and all that. What a great job. You know, but they're really good at memorization. And
that's like both have their benefits. Like more engineering focus or is a men oriented occupation, just because men are more
they're more after like the problem solving.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
That's what makes the world go around.
That's why I have the problem with how much people are pushing for we need diversity and everything. And it's like, I guarantee a lot of women don't want to be an oil rig worker or something like that. Why even force it?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Diversity is a great thing when it's a combination of different individuals.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why they always taught diversity as being like religion, race, and all that stuff. I always thought diversity was everyone. Everyone is diverse from everyone. So why are we making it all into race and stuff?
Well, that's what they're thinking diversity is. To me, it's always been the U.S. has been about the individual. Everyone to each their own. Everyone's got their own deal.
Yeah.
Everyone can believe what they want, but that doesn't mean you can hate them for it or something like that.
But they all came from unique backgrounds.
Yeah,
of their own,
exactly.
just like all three of us. If we growing up in the same place, we'll have a high school diploma from the same school, but you had a different experience. I had a different experience. You had a different experience.
Yeah.
And that's cool. You know, and you take your individual talents and you put them together, and it's no different than putting a football team together, a basketball team together. You know, like not everybody can be quarterback, and not everybody can be offensive lineman.
Oh yeah.
You don't need that. You need them to specialize in what they do.
Yeah.
You know, so that allows the other person to specialize in what they do for them to be successful all together. And I mean, that's the definition of teamwork when it comes to, but it's diversity.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why I
diverse
think
skills.
teachers should be allowed. Like, if some kid's like, oh, this kid could probably work for NASA. It's like, hell yeah. I hope the teacher's pushing that kid because he's probably going to benefit all society
Right.
or like somewhat of it. But I don't know. The world's changing.
Oh, it's different.
It changed in front
It
of
is
us.
different.
In the last 5 years, there's so much change in the world.
Oh, you guys wouldn't even recognize the high school. Though. It's changed so much since you guys graduated. Where
Really?
there's, I'm gonna say this in a nice way. Like, there's no leadership in the high school from a student-led leadership point of view because,
There's like no student council or anything?
well, the majority of the juniors, seniors aren't in school all day.
Oh, seriously?
I mean, they're doing College Credit Plus, they're doing CBI, they're doing TriStar. There's all these different outlets out there now because of diversity. I mean, there's different ways to earn your diploma now, but unfortunately, the downfall is that you take who would be your leaders of the school, and they're not in the school anymore. They're pursuing their own, their own studies outside those walls. So now you're left with all the freshmen and the sophomores, and they're not ready to lead yet.
That's why I feel like
they haven't been taught how to lead, and that comes from your peers, not from adults.
Right.
And that's probably why there's like almost a loss of respect now, just because there's not that position of respect is no longer there.
It's very different. I was scared to death
Of seniors.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
one of those things.
Yep.
You were scared to death. Walk down that hallway.
Never walk down that hallway.
And if you do, you're not making eye contact with anybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
you're
getting
putting your
angry
head
out.
down and you're getting right to class.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
That's what. Now there's nobody up there.
Yeah.
There's nobody. So now you got 10th graders, and I'll go back to Latin. You guys weren't able to take that, but JT Roth, he was football coach, taught Latin forever. And the definition of sophomore, the translation is a wise jackass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like, it's spot on. It's perfect. As a sophomore, they think they are the shit and they know everything.
Oh, yeah.
And in reality, they don't know anything.
Yeah.
They're probably the most immature of all the grades at that point, because they think they're cool, but they're not.
Yeah.
And if that's who's ends up leading,
That's bad news.
you're not in good shape.
Oh, yeah. That's bad news.
No different than any athletic team. You could have a very talented sophomore, but it's hard to win that way.
Oh, yeah.
You need those guys that are battle tested and put in the work and the time to lead you, even if they're not the best athlete. But you need that leadership.
Oh, yeah.
You need that leadership. And
You need someone to look up to.
right. And that's what's tough. And I don't have an answer for that. And we've had many conversations as staff on how to combat that. It's different. Just school is different that way.
I think that they should just make it so. I don't think you should be missing half your day of school, like as a junior.
It's tough. But you look at the other things and, you can't tell them, well, they're going to get college credit, that works for double, that if it's available, I would have taken advantage of it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really
Don't get me
wasn't,
wrong, but that's the thing. It's like, should it be available?
Right. Well, that's the whole, but that's powers beyond us, that's at the legislative level.
Oh, yeah.
But then you got other kids that, coming from tough backgrounds and they have a job. Well, I can get out of school early to go work and get credit for it. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you? Now I can work a full.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing I
absolutely.
see. I think has changed. Like, I think if you want to work your job, just drop out then. Like, it was like, imagine 60, 70 years ago. Like, most kids didn't finish high school just because they didn't want to. It wasn't because
they went to
it
eighth
wasn't
grade.
It's because it was the goal of high school at that point was just another jumping off point for college. What college has become now. Now high school is almost like, it's kind of going back to it, I guess. It's kind of becoming another jumping off point.
Well, they got so many different technical schools, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're getting away from. You don't have to have a 4-year degree to go get a good job anymore. I mean, it's kind of more that specialized training for stuff, and which it's trickled down to the high school part of it too. Which
I find that I don't think that's that good because at that point you're putting yourself in a bubble. It's like you're only if you're specializing that early, you're already you're in a small bubble. You haven't exposed yourself to all of these other surroundings, like class atmosphere or whatever. Because that teaches other things, like when you have a kid that's like he's just really dumb and he doesn't know any better and you ask really dumb questions, and so you have to deal with that. It's like you learn to have tolerance, which they won't get now because it's like, well, I can skip that.
You still might get those dumb things just because you are still going to those technical schools with other kids and stuff, and so they still might get a little bit of that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of positives to it. It's just with any positive, there's always going to be you're taking away from something else, you know. And what's
I don't think it should be taxpayer funded though. The college thing, I don't think that should be taxpayer funded.
That is not. That's
it isn't
all state funded.
It is state funded, so it's still taxpayer funded.
Well, yes, but it's not.
To me, that's like a little odd because you're kind of paying for their college already. If you're going to pay for them to go take college courses, like
right,
that's the point of college is you're going to make a lot more money already going to college to pay off your college loans.
Correct.
So that's why I think it's like that's almost like its own building in itself, where you learn that you got to kind of forfeit something.
But they've changed college so much to where it's
because college can't keep up with the world now. The world's
No.
adapting so fast. Technology, like Google dropped 4-year degree requirements because colleges can't teach coding fast as it's growing.
Right.
There's like new languages and everything so fast that colleges can't teach it. It's too slow.
Yeah. And to me, college was about the process of moving away for 4 years and figuring out how to live on your own. And that was a huge thing that I needed, just maturity wise. Like, you know, I can't imagine, I don't know. It's just changed. Everyone went to college when I was graduating. Like, you didn't, Wright State, you couldn't get a 4-year degree from. So there was a handful of people that might have went there, but you were going to have to transfer after a year or two down to Dayton to finish up. And there wasn't all those options to stay home. So you went away to college and you learned how to live. You know, you learn how to live and you come back and then you're kind of ready for life, you know. But now so many people, they can't afford to go because it's so expensive.
Yeah, and they still are, they're like, they're pressured by everything around them saying go to college. You can't. You're not going to succeed if you don't go to college. Like we have a shortage of electricians and plumbers and everything.
The skilled welders. I mean, you guys. All these people can make way more money than I can in education,
and they'll have better times too. Like half the time, it's like they're pushing these kids so far to go to college and to pursue these. Like, yeah, you're high paying, but do you want to do that? You're right. Before they even know what they want to do, they're already being pushed in this certain direction. Because a lot of people like that. It's like you don't have to continually stress yourself to learn new things. Like you can master the one thing you've been passionate about.
Right.
But they're being pushed in that. I mean, the counselors and everything when we were in high school were, you need to apply to all these colleges now.
That's really changed. They're not pushing the 4-year stuff.
Good. I think good.
It's a lot more into the trades and that different thing that gets people out of high school earlier. Yeah. But it's no different than doing the College Credit Plus. I mean, you're going out to learn a trade, you're going out to take college course, you know, whatever it is. Take advantage of these opportunities, I guess. But at the same time, I feel like we're making kids grow up faster than they're ready for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's just like the weird thing about it is even like puberty is happening faster. And like girls, it's happening faster like by like years. Like girls are entering puberty like 6 years faster than they did 20 years ago. And same with males.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is weird because that almost is forcing the school to progress faster and to get these kids out in the world because they're already growing up that fast. But to me, it's just like...
I don't think mentally they'll be
mentally,
physically they are, but mentally...
Mentally, we've slowed down.
Yeah, we're not wise anymore. And I think wisdom, it purely comes from life experiences, which is not like I thought I was a king when I was 16, 17. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm full of testosterone. Like I can conquer the world. Then then like years after that, you realize how big the world is.
Right. Well, there's just so many of them that they want to grow up fast, but they don't understand it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I don't know so much that comes from our surroundings, though. I mean, whatever you can see on TV and through your phone and through the internet, and just you're exposed to all this adult content so much earlier. And I'm guilty of it too, even with my two girls. You know, they've probably seen stuff way sooner or heard, than
you're definitely right about that.
than I did, you know, but doesn't mean that they're ready for it. You know, it doesn't.
Because you could only watch an R-rated movie. Like, you actually had to have someone 18 or older with you.
Absolutely.
Now it's just like you can just go anywhere. The internet is full of literally anything you want to look at. Even if you don't want to look at it, you'll probably find it anyways.
Absolutely.
That's kind of terrifying to think. Like, I can imagine like 8-year-old me just having the power of the internet of it today. Oh my gosh.
Finding everything and anything.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's not good. Frank Townsend,
Oh my
8-year-old
gosh, yeah,
looking up
but-
anything.
That's
A
an odd.
whole different world.
And you have how old are your daughters now?
They are 12 and 10.
12 and 10.
12 and 10, 6th grade and 4th grade. So
Holy cow. I honestly remember when you and my brother started to have kids and everything. They were just real young, and all of a sudden now they're
they grow
they're
so
about
fast.
teenagers.
I also remember
It's weird.
when you were like 3 years old too. and
Yeah.
Sitting down there. And,
My cousins are like the same age, and I completely understand. Like I saw them like 2 years ago, and I was like, "Boy, you guys were like 2 feet tall."
man, they
It's a weird
they
thing.
grow fast. And,
You don't realize it until you're watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I didn't realize how fast I actually grew because as a kid, you always want to get older quicker. It's like,
Yeah.
You that's the envy. It's like, oh, I want to become 18 or 16 so I can get a car, and then I want to become 18 now.
Yeah.
And you never realize how like the days passing, how fast they are passing in front of you.
And every year goes faster. I mean, every year goes faster and faster. And especially with kids, you know, like it's kind of scary to think about, you know, but 6 years from now, you know, Brooke's
My
gonna
dad
be
says that to
going
me all the
away.
time.
Oh boy.
You know, like
Yeah.
she's not even driving yet, but
In 6
it's only
years.
6 years. I
Yeah.
mean, she'll be ready to, I mean, holy cow.
You can just picture to yourself how fast you've had years pass.
I think Coach Baucher just had almost an epiphany, like, oh shit,
Yeah,
this is going fast.
it's been on my mind for quite a bit.
Well, to me too, I think to myself, I'm like, holy shit, I turned 30 this decade. Like,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
you do
This
too.
decade. Oh my goodness.
I mean, still though, that's a little odd to think about. Like, we're in the 20s now.
Yeah, it's weird that like in high school, like oh man, I can't wait till I'm 18. I can't wait till I'm 21. Now I'm like, I don't want to be 25.
I can't wait till
I don't want to be 30. Oh, maybe not.
It's like I can't wait until I can rent a car.
Yeah.
Like,
you hit 21, like then you don't get anything after that.
No, there isn't.
I mean, you turn 25 and supposedly your car insurance goes down or whatever. And maybe now you can rent a car.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. Trust me. I mean,
you got to be on your own taxes now.
yeah, I
You can't
mean, nothing good happens then. I mean, it was.
It's like 25 is the point where even the government's like, all right, you're on your own. It's all downhill from here.
That's
Whatever
right,
for you.
man.
That's what my dad always says. He's like, oh, it's weird. I remember like when I could hold you in the palm of my hand. It honestly feels like it was last year.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh, now you're bigger than I am.
Right. And able to reproduce.
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh boy.
That's a weird thing to like.
That's a weird thought. I guess we've never had that because we never had a person with kids on yet.
Well, for camp.
Oh, I guess Fort Camp had. Yeah, that's true.
Because he said it was a way he can finally prove with facts that he's not a virgin anymore.
He's got proof now.
He's got proof. Well, you guys want to take a break real quick here?
Sounds
Just
good.
real quick. And we're back. Now, this guy right here, Coach Baucher, made it to the Celina Hall of Fame.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was this? Like, what did you get this for?
What I get this for?
What? I know you were a fantastic athlete and
I
everything.
had excellent teammates and very good coaches is the only reason I had even remotely chance of getting in. But They said it was for accomplishment in or not. I always want to say basketball because that's like my love. But
Yeah.
I did not get in because I was a great basketball player. I had 3 varsity letters, but that's not why. Football and track.
Football and track.
Oh, nice.
Football and track was so. I was pretty fortunate to have some really good teammates around me that was allowing.
Well, track is completely individual.
Yeah, that's a little different.
It's all you, for sure.
Coach Schreffler's a wizard.
Oh my gosh,
Absolute wizard. Believe it or not, like I was a very good hurdler. I was league champion in 300 hurdles my sophomore and junior year.
That's a tough one.
It is. We always kind of say it was the man's race because
I ran that a couple of times. That was hard.
I've heard it's pretty tough.
Going over the hurdles and all, but as a freshman, I was out there and Chef goes, "You're trying hurdles." I said, "Okay." And it was Trent Dysart and I don't know if you guys know Trent.
Yeah, he was good too.
Also a Hall of Fame quarterback. But the two of us went out there and Trent was terrible at it. I think he did it on purpose, partly because he didn't want to do it. And of course, anything coach tells me to do something, I'm going to do it and try to do it the best you can. And turned out to be pretty good at it. So,
do you guys have the record for relay?
We had a 4x2 medley or something like that.
That's what I thought, because I remember seeing his name in the cab building.
Yeah, we had a couple different things. There was some relay meets that we had some pretty good teams put together. But
were the hurdles your best event?
Yeah, between that and then the 4x4.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
talk about a man's race.
Yeah, his guys run hard.
You took the hardest races you could do.
That's where it was at. You know? I wasn't gonna beat anybody in the 100, and I didn't want to run any longer than 400. So
400 though, those are
Those
my
tough,
gosh.
Man. They were tough, but it was fun. That 1600 meter relay is just being the last event and kind of.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of
everyone's watching.
Everyone's watching.
All your teammates around the inside of the track.
My sophomore year, the league title came down to that race.
Oh seriously?
Oh wow!
And we had to win, and then I don't know. Defiance had to get third, and somebody else had to get second or something, and. It felt just perfect. We won the race,
nice.
And whoever else needed to get somewhere else. So we ended up winning the league by 1 point or something. But
damn,
it was at Kenton, and Schreff jumped, from the Kenton home football stands there. Like there's that fence that comes down, kind of. He jumped over like that 8-foot fence to come down there running. That was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, but no, it was a neat couple weekends ago when they had that ceremony. It was pretty cool. All my family came in.
That is sweet.
Did you get the don't they have the jackets?
The green jackets. Only the committee has those.
Yeah.
Oh,
only the committee
that's
does.
jerky. Come on.
I gotta keep working my golf game if I want to get one of those. I guess. So, but no, it was a fun evening. So
that's awesome.
It was good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, nice job. Attaboy. Now, we were also talking about the keto diet. What's up with this? You were on the keto diet for a long time.
I did. I'm going on 15, 16 months now, something like that. Like I said, I can't claim to be keto still. The keto police would arrest me, but just kind of came to a point in my life where I tried a bunch of different things and
needed a drastic change.
I needed something that I could stick to, and done different diets, and it just you always felt like you're starving yourself.
Oh yeah,
or
you can't like so many of the diets you can't really make into a lifestyle.
Oh, not at all.
That's what you have to do to actually be.
You're exactly right. It was a lifestyle, and I needed to find something because I don't have time, or I choose not to make time to go work out. Religiously.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I get you completely.
So
understand.
I knew that was not going to be part of my lifestyle. Like I could go do it for a couple weeks or a month, but at some point I'm going to get sick of it. I'm going to quit doing it just because.
So a lot of people just not their forte.
I was.
Well, you're a runner. It sounds like you're a runner too, and that's. I know a lot of runners that cannot stand weightlifting or any type of lifting just because.
I'm just the opposite. Like I don't know, through high school and college sports, like
wears you
being told to be here and be there all the time and do this, like like I said, I was always going to do that, and I was going to bust my butt while I was there.
Yeah,
but I didn't love that. I was never a love of mine. So give me in college we played a ton of pickup basketball. We played a bunch of
yeah.
racquetball. I mean, anything I can go compete in, I'll do that all
And
day long.
that's all you have to do.
Right.
If they say it's like 20% exercise, 80% diet.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to really exercise that much. Like you don't have to be out running a mile or weightlifting or whatever. Like you could play a pickup game, whatever. You don't even have to do anything as long as you're not eating shitty things in your body. Like it's just all it boils down to.
And that's all and so over the years, you know, I've always been active.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing you on the elliptical in the catboating.
Or whether it was, I mean, I played in old man's basketball league for quite a while until I tore an Achilles. And,
Oh damn!
But even then, my diet was still terrible. So like you're doing that just to try to hopefully maintain.
Yeah.
You know, and I love golf and I'd walk a lot and do that. But still, if you're drinking 8 beers, you know,
that's the hardest. That's one big thing that a lot of people, if they cut that out,
right.
Then, but it's this this is a very Germanic area.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that's been instilled in us.
Yeah.
Like if you go over to Germany now, you drink beer for breakfast.
Oh, absolutely.
And like, so it's pretty bred into us. And it's hard to stop that because it's common. It, like we drink it with your meal, like how the Italians drink wine.
Everybody does it. Yeah.
Which is if it's a main part of your diet, that's probably the hardest thing you can cut.
Right. So I was like, I had to find something where I could lose weight because I needed to get healthier. I knew that. Had lost my dad a couple years ago and to cancer and just some different things. It just makes you start thinking about things a little bit differently, you know? So I was like, came to this point, like I need to find something. So I started researching. Well, I know I don't want to work out a bunch. Okay, that's number one. Number two, like I eat like crap. I don't eat any vegetables, you know? So I got to find something there. But then at the same time, like I'm not going to do something where I can't make that lifestyle change.
Yeah,
like, I like to drink beer, you know? I can drink something different, you know, but like,
and it's not
socially,
like you just don't, it's not like cut out beer completely, right? It's just like a lot of it is in excess.
Yeah, but it was just like there's these things like I had to check mark, and then somehow I stumbled across the keto diet, and you know it caught me as like I got to eat meat, I get to eat cheese and eggs. Like, well, there's 3 things I love.
Oh yeah,
so like. There's 3, I can do this. So there's food I like.
Yeah.
I can still drink beer. Or I enjoy Tito's vodka. Okay. There's no carbs in that.
Yeah.
With water.
Yeah.
So like, all right, we're checking some boxes here. Like I can do this. I can do some of this stuff. And exercise, you know, it is, if you want to, it's probably going to enhance things, but you didn't have to, you know? So just did a bunch of research on it and slowly started cutting out sugar out of my diet.
That's literally the worst thing for people. They don't realize it.
Sugar is crack cocaine.
Yes.
I swear to God.
And the reason I was researching a lot, I've researched sugar so much.
Well, you've always been big into fitness and everything, but
in the 60s, the cereal companies, General Mills and all of them, they literally paid for research studies to show how, this is how the food pyramid is. This is how you need to do it all. We need to have a balanced breakfast, a balanced dinner, whatever. We need carbs in everyone. We need majority carbs, whatever. And it's just like, no.
Yeah.
We would never lived like that. Our whole entire existence as humans, we've been hunters and gatherers. We've been gathering or good carbs at least.
Yeah. Well, it all came back to it was one of the presidents that died in office of heart attack. Which would have been
Garfield.
Garfield.
Okay. So once that happens, you know, they have the government wants all this research done. You know, why is this? You know, well, there was the one report that was kind of out of Great Britain based, and then there was the American report, and they chose to go with the American report. Well, then it was all about red meats and all this other stuff. That's what's causing all this. Where the report from Great Britain was all about sugars and carbs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I never heard of that.
Yeah. So this is the way that the government decided to go.
Gotcha.
So then they come up with the 5 food groups and all this, and we're in actual reality. Turn the food pyramid upside down, and that's really the way you should eat.
Oh yeah.
But it's so programmed everyone right
And
now.
see, that's
real
why
bad.
it's weird to me because since I grew up on a farm,
Yep.
I always ate what like in nature, like all the predators, they're mainly eating only meat.
Yep.
And that's it. They might have nuts and everything, but they're pretty much eating only meat.
I mean-
and they can maintain this extremely good physique, like a hawk or something like
Right.
that. So I just kind of thought like this is how nature is.
Right.
This is why we should live like this. Like
well, shit.
we are nature.
Chickens are supposed to eat insects.
Right.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's
well
meat,
we
right?
don't have any insects around our house.
I can go to a whole nother
Oh yeah.
part of it going down that way, but through the. So I decided I went to the keto and just.
If you don't mind me, if you don't mind me asking, how much weight did you lose?
I lost 70 pounds.
70
Damn.
pounds. That's
70,
crazy.
Yeah. So I lost a small child. You know, I mean, that's exactly.
So what'd you go from?
Yeah.
What'd you go to?
I was at 254.
You lost from 254
Mhm.
down to like 270? 280? I mean 180?
I was like, whoa.
180?
184 is
184 was
was the
Damn.
lowest now I'm like maintaining like at 186.
And that's like
187.
that's
as long
your
as you can
body
maintain it, that's
just throwing off all of the crap it didn't need in the first
Exactly.
place.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you went to a normal, like a healthy weight for
Right.
whatever your body type was.
It's exactly like now I don't eat sugar, but I try to keep my carbs low. So I'm just low carb, but I can maintain my weight now this way in a healthy way where I have energy and I feel full and I don't ever get bloated and you know all that crazy stuff that came along with everything. And I enjoy food.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
And it's almost impossible to not eat carbs nowadays just because
so much-
carbs are great for kind of like a little sustained energy as long as you're not in. It's like everything's good in moderation, carbs
Right.
included. Like they're great for energy for a few hours or whatever.
Right.
And so low is perfect.
right. And basically what keto is that your body runs on ketones instead of carbs or glucose,
Because it
Absolutely. Yeah.
which is a natural.
their proteins are
Yeah.
broken down through gluconeogenesis,
Yep.
which breaks it down into glucose.
Right.
Which that's mainly the main argument for people with carbs. They're like, oh, well, you need glucose.
Because you
And
make
it's like,
you make it. Yeah,
Well, and that's why they need to eat 6 times a day. And
Yeah.
all this different,
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
your body's constantly craving the glucose all the time.
yeah.
And it's a drug. It's exactly what it is. It's a
And it's
drug.
their
Yeah,
gut.
yeah.
Your gut loves carbs, and people don't realize your gut is what determines your hormones too. So
I
it's
mean,
going to
that
determine if
determines
you're
everything.
if you're irritable or whatever.
Yep,
You have
yep.
the most nerve connections from your gut straight to your brain. That's the most nerves in your body are through that connection.
It's your second brain. Now, yeah, cause like you said, like I do intermittent fasting
Yep,
right
I
now.
do that with it.
Dude, yeah, 'cause I was gonna ask you that because like every time I eat carbs, like the night before, like a bunch of carbs, I know, and the next morning when I'm fasting, that's when I'm always the hungriest. And when I don't eat a lot of carbs that night, next morning I feel great. Like I'm I'm not hungry.
Well,
I
that's
feel
It's
good.
amazing.
I've always
Yeah.
been a really big promoter of just anything that's a natural in our history. It's like intermittent fasting was completely natural, where like when we were hunters and gatherers, you couldn't shoot a deer.
Because you didn't have it. There was no refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
so that's
yeah,
your food.
yeah.
So you would have to. That's why we're amazing at storing fat. That's why people get so fat, is because that's what our bodies have been bred to do.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
they know you're not gonna. You will be days till you can kill another animal or find
Absolutely.
another patch of berries,
Yep.
whatever.
You are so right.
And it's like anything that just kind of emulates the natural order of it. You can't like. I've completely understood. You cannot fight nature.
You can't. No way. Cannot.
Nature will always win.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mother Nature, man. She's top of the food chain. She's top of everything. Yeah, that's one
Oh,
person you
that's
don't
good.
mess with. But
Oh yeah.
that's where I went that route, and I mean the pounds just started coming off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
instantly.
So I
So,
don't,
like,
I don't know that necessarily. I don't know about the weight loss, but
Right.
I've done that keto diet so much, and I just do it because your energy.
Oh.
I have so much energy when I'm on a keto diet.
my life just completely it changed. You know, I had energy.
Mm-hmm.
I had built some more confidence because I started
Yeah.
losing some weight, and I've always been a confident person, but there's definitely when you don't want to look in the mirror because you know you don't look
Yeah.
good in there, like it's just completely different. And so that started coming back, and then you just kind of stayed motivated, and you know, like I'd like to think myself I'm pretty disciplined
Motivated.
most of the time. And that's what it was, though. It was just staying disciplined to what you were doing, and it kept going. Like, and my initial goal was like lose 15 pounds.
Those
And
goals,
you have to
say
set the
small
goals.
goals like that. Yeah.
We are so good at accomplishing small goals.
Right.
That's why I envy your classes, because that was something never pushed.
Right.
In high school, was like, you have to make these little goals. You can't just say, well, my goal is I'm going to become the richest man ever.
Right.
It's like, one, that's very not probable, and two, it's like, yeah, what about the time between that?
Right.
Like, and those small goals, you never really learn that.
Well,
Which
'cause-
in your class, you were saying now
Yeah.
you have these
Oh,
daily goals.
It's daily. You have to get this done.
And that makes you live in the present.
Right. Because it's step each
Yeah.
day. So I knew when I did this, like, my ultimate goal, which I never thought was accomplishable. Like, I didn't think I could I wanted to get to 185 again. Like, that was always kind of my dream weight, I think, is what I should be at. And I was like, I weigh 255 pounds. There's no way. Like, that's not even in scale, But then you start going and you kind of keep hitting goals and you pick up some momentum and you kind of stay through it. And then the cool part was just, like I was telling you guys, my wife jumped on board, which was huge, So then not all the burden was on me to prepare meals and stuff, which she had done 90% of that before that. So we kind of tag teamed it that way, and then really good support group of friends, and we do a little rotational Sunday dinner with 5-6 different families.
Nice.
And so they jumped on board, and
that makes it so much easier when you have other people
they
of
were
doing that, just dealing with it the same way as you are.
They said, we'll make keto meals, we'll make it keto friendly and do all that. So just all that, just kind of the momentum kept going. And, it was I think it was 9 months is what it was. I got down to
That's awesome.
185.
That's awesome. That is sweet.
So, it's been about another 6 since then where I've been able to keep it off. And like, I truly think that I can do this the rest of my life.
And you enjoy it too.
I do. Like, I mean,
if you don't make it a life, like we were saying, if you don't make it a lifestyle, then it's just it's impossible.
Then it's a diet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's everyone's like, what's your diet? Oh, it's not a diet.
And
This-
that's
a lifestyle.
diets to me, it's like a month or like 2 months, and it's like, to make anything a habit, you have to do it for at least 66 days.
Right.
So at that point, to me, it's a lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
it's either you're all in or you're not.
Right.
Like you got to at least sacrifice something
Yeah.
to reap the rewards.
But it's cool. Like, my palate is completely changed. Like,
Is it really?
Yeah.
oh, completely. Like,
No,
I like
explain that.
vegetables now. Like, I did not eat any vegetables before.
Really?
I'd eat
That's
salad.
funny you
Yeah,
say that,
yeah.
because I've never thought of that, but I'm definitely the same way now.
Well, food, you can actually taste
the
real
yeah.
food.
Really?
Where I hated vegetables before because they were bland always. Well, you douse them with some kind of seasoning or something and you can tolerate them. Now I can actually taste the true
Yeah, absolutely.
taste.
I
in
noticed.
'em.
I noticed like wine and stuff like that. I definitely got more flavor from that. I think it just carbs just dull your taste buds.
Yeah, I don't. I eat very, very slim of sugar, very none. But now, like, I eat like a cupcake. I'm like, man, this is way too sweet. I can't
Yeah.
eat it. And someone's like, this is
Right.
nothing to me. Like, I'm like, I can't eat this anymore. It's
That's
way
what I
too
can't.
sweet.
I can't
I
eat.
stayed completely away from them.
Yeah, it's hard.
I don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
either.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's
yeah,
like
you
when
don't
people
miss that bad
people
stuff at all.
I will only eat dark chocolate.
Right.
Just because I cannot really eat regular chocolate. It's so sweet. Like I feel like my teeth are like literally being eaten away.
Yeah, I like
almost.
dark chocolate now too. And
Yeah.
that's stuff
You
I did.
realize,
Dark
like,
chocolate.
you realize like,
Oh yeah.
and the thing about it is like, a lot of tastes aren't meant to be just pure pleasure.
Right.
Like it's like that's how you kind of have a diverse palate. It's like you need those spicy foods to know the benefit, the sensation of not spicy foods or
Right.
whatever.
What was that? This quote that Joe Rogan said was, people always go for mouth pleasure.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
the time. People are just mouth pleasure, mouth pleasure,
Yeah.
mouth pleasure, just sugar,
Yep.
shit. So it's no. You no. Go ahead.
Just there's a couple of really good videos or documentaries out there on that.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one's the sugar pill.
I always thought
And
Super Size Me. You guys ever?
I
watch
never
that?
watched that.
I just thought that was good for people that need to watch that for fast food.
Right, because it makes complete sense,
Yes.
though.
Yeah.
And kind of the sugar pill was, it's either sugar pill or magic. Yeah, I think it was sugar pill.
Sugar.
But I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, look that up.
But we watched that one day. We got canceled from school, actually. And I watched that, and my girls watched it with me. And then so Brooke gave up sugar for Lent then, that
Magic pill.
magic pill, okay.
Magic pill. Okay.
And it was amazing, like how much better she felt and how her body started to change just by giving up sugar for
Really?
That's
6
like-
weeks.
That's awesome.
People around the globe are combating illness through a paradigm shift in eating. Wow, that's so. That's like
This guy's from Australia,
gotcha.
and he eats a keto lifestyle already, but just because that's how he eats.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like purposely.
Yeah.
But he goes out on this experiment to see really how much sugar is out there in all the foods, like in a normal person. And so he goes from Australia and he gains, it's kind of like supersized me because he gains like 20 or 30 pounds like in a month.
Holy shit.
And then he flies to the United States and then it's like through the roof. But then they take and they show you how much sugar than everything. Like,
It's scary.
yeah, so they take like whatever, like a milkshake, and then like how much sugar's in that.
Oh,
but
man.
then he'll take, instead of drinking the milkshake, like he takes the sugar, so like the pound of sugar or whatever, and like goes through like this.
Oh,
So he goes through all
I
this.
want to watch this. That sounds so sweet.
It's really good. And then at the end, he goes back to his keto type
Well, that's
life,
the other.
and he loses the weight.
yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's like you don't even have to go on a pure keto diet. Is that our serving sizes are so big now?
And that was the biggest difference between the United States and Australia.
And like
there.
you go to Europe, like when I went to London, you almost are you're taken back because you're like, wait a second, this is just a burger and there's barely any fries or
Right.
whatever. It's like that's common over there, but here it's like a burger and this giant thing of fries and whatever.
Yeah, that's one
That's
thing.
now-
much.
Everyone's like, well, how do you go out to eat? It's really easy.
It's
every
all-
It's
every
super easier
place
now.
you go to eat at has got meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So get a meat and have a salad,
And now
You're
not
done.
only that,
and you're full.
Oh,
I mean, you're full.
and
yeah,
if you're
yeah,
vegetarian or whatever, it's just whatever your calories in, you just want that to be somewhat under 2,200 and then you'll be good. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even have to pay attention to the micronutrients or whatever. Like I got big into that stuff.
Yeah,
Like that's a whole nother can
Oh,
of
yeah,
worms,
there's-
but it's
that's a lot of work.
yeah, oh, it definitely.
That is a
but
lot of work.
you can really, I don't know, you can really see slight little changes.
Yeah,
And
Like
I'm-
vitamin
when I'm
C,
doing
like
that-
I would take like vitamin C extra a day, and then like I would never have like breakouts, and I would never get sick either.
yeah.
Like those little ones, but that's just kind of
Well,
just because I'm already to the point where
Yeah.
now most of the stuff I eat, I know exactly how many grams of carbs are in each of
Yeah.
this, whatever. And so like
just look at that, Jay. Just look on the back of the things when you eat. Like when you buy stuff, just look at them.
And
you'd
you
be
learn it.
surprised.
You
You're
learn
like,
it, too.
Holy cow, that's a lot of carbs, a lot of sugars. I've been eating that a lot. Put
Right.
that one back.
so
I'm
that's
not gonna-
great. I don't even look at that stuff anymore because I spent so much time
Yeah.
doing it. Like now
Yeah.
you know it. But like this goes through and it shows. So the one thing that I kind of lived on for a long time was I had reduced fat wheat thins.
Oh,
and I always dipped them in cheese. Okay, so you always think, well, I'm eating healthier because it's reduced fat. You know, bullshit. What they do is they take all the fat out and replace it with sugar.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
way worse for you than.
And that's what people don't
Oh,
realize. Like, there's an
oh.
epidemic of diabetes
Oh, it's-
too.
yeah.
Well,
Like
well,
both
the-
my cousins
yeah.
have diabetes.
Well, yeah, and the one thing is when people are like, "Well, there's no sugar in it." Well, it tastes sweet. How the fuck are they making that taste sweet?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Well,
another
and
thing
sugar-
too.
sugar,
and then if
it's-
there's no fat in it, how are they going to do that? Add sugar.
Well,
Like,
it's like
just weird stuff in it.
Sugar is just a little. It's the only reason why there's so much sugar in food is because that in the '60s the government gave the most subsidies to corn. If you look at corn, the price of corn has not gone above. Well, like a couple years it got above it, but around for the last like 50 years, corn has cost around $4 a bushel. Has not really gone above that, or has its years of droughts or whatever, but it's not really changed at that. It's because the government subsidizes it and says, if you grow this corn, we'll give you this money. So everyone's out there growing corn, and then you have, what do we make corn into now? We can't just feed it.
Well,
We have too much corn.
Yeah.
It's high fructose corn syrup.
Well, and then it's feeding all the animals and everything else. Well, guess what? Corn was never intended to feed anybody.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not.
No,
It was,
not at all.
It wasn't really intended for human consumption, and it wasn't intended for animal consumption.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm talking about.
You're
'Cause
100% right.
Go to the whole next thing. Like I went from keto to like, part of the grass-fed meats. Like, now you want to eat meats. Now you want to eat. You want to know where your meat came from.
Oh, yeah.
Because you still get all the crap that you're trying to stay away from if you go to the store-bought stuff. So,
I've never found the drive to grass-fed beef.
Oh, that's because it's all natural. Now you're going back to.
I know, yeah, but me,
It's all back to nature.
all about to
when I
nature,
had
yeah.
my steers. When I had my steers, I had about 130 head of them.
Yeah.
Dave Scott raised them.
Right,
Really.
it's a lot easier to feed them grain.
But they were
Yeah.
they were silage fed. So
Yeah.
we took hay, and then we would wrap it in these big plastic rolls, and then we would bale it wet, and then they would mold and turn into silage. And that beef, which was mainly just grass fed.
it's gonna be more
at that
grass.
point,
Yeah.
but just the mold added to it, and that beef, it was better than grass fed. I have no doubt.
I mean, you get away from the GMOs and
Oh my! Don't get me
all
started.
the
The GMOs
crazy
are the
stuff.
worst.
But everything
processed
is
shit.
done for. It's all done for production.
Yeah, for
It is.
for
numbers.
mass production.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've looked into it. Like
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
raise cattle now. Like that's what I want to do.
I want to raise
I-
chickens. I
dude,
want to get chickens
I'm
real bad.
doing chickens this
Oh,
year.
you're doing
chickens
chickens
summer.
this year?
And
Sweet.
the first
Yeah,
thing,
you're out in the
pasture
middle of nowhere,
raised.
aren't you?
my chickens are all free range. We
Yeah.
have like about 80 of them. And the first thing you'll notice is one, there won't be any bugs around your house.
Yep,
at
because
all.
that's what they actually eat.
That's what they eat. And like, two is their eggs. You'll start having eggs that are just dark orange.
Yep.
And the darker
Oh,
the
yeah.
yolk, the more the
better.
protein. The more proteins in the yolk. And like, that was the one thing I've always been taught is like, never eat an egg raw from the store. But like on the farm, I can just crack one open and eat it
Yeah.
because it's not going to have all these diseases or whatever.
Completely different.
You'll
Yeah.
have chickens too that will have like, we have one chicken that only lays triple yolk.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like we used to get the eggs from a person who had eggs, and always get like double eggs and triple eggs, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look, twin right
Dude,
there.
Even milk. Like now you can, it's like I haven't drank it as much as I want to, but unpasteurized milk, so much better than regular milk.
Oh, then they keep talking about like it's illegal to have raw milk. And
Yeah,
all that.
and
like,
Who says that? What?
there's states that outlaw
No,
it.
no, it's
No
it's
way.
illegal.
Is
You
it
can't.
really?
No, it's
Yeah.
illegal in the U.S. You can't have unpasteurized milk. You cannot sell it
You can't sell it
because
But like it goes back to what do you think everybody else? How they
Yeah,
got milk?
exactly.
They went right to the cow and got it.
What?
You know
Why? Why
Because
is it?
pasteurization, all it is heating the milk, and it cooks off a lot of the fat that's in milk naturally. And the reason why you heat it is to kill the bacteria. But if you know where the only reason why there's bacteria that is arising is because we have factory farms where you have these bacteria that never existed can now mutate into this thing that's harmful in the milk now.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you have any like I've drank milk straight out of the udder,
Yeah.
and like it tastes so much better. Like there's so much fat loss in but you can't buy unpasteurized milk.
But you want that fat. That's the
Fat
healthy
is healthy. Fat is literally what makes your hormones.
Right. I mean, that's the cool thing about keto is, everything is fat based.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's what's really good for you, where society says
No,
just the
all
opposite.
fats are
Carbs
bad.
good for you,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's so
It's weird.
Bad.
I want to watch that.
It's so weird
Yeah.
because it's like it's your generation and all the under is now starting to realize this whole diet thing is just like
They're figuring it out.
We've been
People are
taught
figuring it out, yeah.
because that like I
everyone
think
else
my
before
dad,
was taught not to question it.
No,
though.
yeah, exactly. That's my point. My dad was saying like what you learned in the history books is what happened.
Right.
And that's there's so much info at your disposal. Now you can find it for yourself. Now you can come
Right.
to the conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I could have 10 acres, I would grow.
You
all-
definitely need to get a steer.
I would
though.
No.
grow all my own
Yeah.
meat and
That'd be
eggs
awesome.
and all that, but I don't have
Don't
it.
have it.
And we live in Mercer County, and farmland is not available.
Oh, no,
you know?
no, it's
farmland's
not.
just
Yeah.
agricultural land.
Just go Eastern Ohio. But
Yeah, well then it's all. I mean, you can move.
just woods.
There's places all over, but
I would so much rather see so many more fields of steer or something.
yeah, I mean,
The problem I have with it is just it's always you just see corn, bean, or wheat, and it's like my dad tells me when he was a kid that he's like, oh yeah, there'd be tomato fields and all these other fields,
Sweet.
and it's just like there's fence lines, whatever. And now I envy that.
yeah,
That'd be
I
sweet.
can't imagine being able to drive by a field of tomatoes in Mercer County.
you're not gonna see it.
No.
It's not enough money.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you talk about you guys had cover crops on.
Oh yeah.
And that's another you want to talk about diversity and a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. Like you talk getting roots in the ground. Like if you want to have a more productive cash crop, plant cover crops.
And that was-
and then have cows graze them
Yeah.
during the winter.
Nice.
Well,
I mean, it's this whole it goes all the way back to nature and everybody wins. You become so much more productive. So you're making more money in your cash crops. Now you're getting cattle back on the land.
I remember
You're getting
10 years
roots,
ago.
Oh, yeah, no,
erosion takes
absolutely,
care of
yeah.
all that. I mean,
10 years ago,
That's
every farmer in this
nature.
area was so
nuts.
against cover crops. I remember because it was Jeff
don't wanna spend
Razorvere.
money.
Jeff Razorvere he was the first one he started a cover crop business. And he was the one that pushed for it. And I remember, so every farmer was like, you're stupid. Like, what are you going to waste money on that? You're just going
Right.
to grow weeds?
because they couldn't.
They didn't realize the actual benefit
Right.
later on. It's like you are draining the soil of all of these nutrients when you only grow corn, bean, and wheats
Right.
in it. And especially when you kill all weeds, because these are
Wow.
all GMO corn,
Yeah.
whatever. So you spray it, you don't have to ever have weeds, and weeds add to the soil's variety.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We've always never sprayed our fields. And we've never went and got organic certified or whatever, just because that was what we've always done. It's like
Right.
this is how it grows the best is when it's all
Yeah.
when it's diverse.
Natural
Yeah,
state.
exactly.
Now I want to sort of kind of reverse kind of some things. I want to ask about. Did you own
You got some
horses?
horses.
Yeah, you
right?
own
Yeah.
it. You used to. Didn't
Well,
you sell them? Yeah.
I've got.
You had a couple thoroughbreds, didn't you?
They were all standard bred.
Standardbreds.
All standard bred. Only got one left, and she's a mama.
Oh yeah.
She's a mama. We've tried the breeding game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Her first full went to sale last Thanksgiving type area, but didn't get out of it what we wanted to. So it's just kind of an experiment.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's got another one that'll go to sale the following year, and then she's bred back. So we'll try to go with the first three, and hopefully the next two are more successful than the first one, or that venture is probably going to get.
How many hands are standardbreds?
Usually 15 and a half to 16.
Oh, that's a decent. That's
Yeah, they're
a
good size
Good size horse.
Yeah. So it was just one of the coolest experiments.
And your daughters probably
They loved it. I mean,
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish we could have horses at the house, and
But the problem is the horses nowadays are so expensive because of
it's-
hay and hay.
it's
So unless you have
outrageous.
like, I've thought about getting horses just because we have fields where we can get hay. But if you can't get hay,
it's
you
still
can't have
still
a
got to
horse.
supplement them with grain and
Yeah.
it's- I don't know. I've always said, I mean, when we owned all the horses, and everything, we had trainers and all that. Like all we were was, I mean, I kind of referred to as having my own little sports team. And I was-
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like
I
a
was-
pit crew.
right. I was like the owner, general manager.
Okay.
Okay. Of that, so I'm paying bills and collecting checks. That's my only true responsibility.
Okay.
In the
That's
whole
how it's been in horse racing, though.
Yeah.
For,
Right.
Literally
Yeah.
its entirety.
Right. So then I had a trainer that they did all the day-to-day work.
Okay.
They're the ones in charge of getting them to the races, and now our trainer was also a driver too, so that helped
That's-
out.
yeah.
Part
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
nice,
But
nice.
so it was a really fun ride that
Yeah.
that had it and had a lot of success. And unfortunately, like that, you get hit by the bug, and you have success with a couple good ones, and you buy more
Oh,
and
yeah.
that aren't so much, and they suck all the
Oh, yeah.
all the winnings out of it. So before it's all said and done, probably didn't make any money after.
Yeah,
It
but
looks like
yeah,
it should have,
experience.
but the
Yeah.
It's the
experience, I wouldn't
experience.
trade it for
Oh, that'd be a
the
sweet
world.
time. Yeah.
I mean, to be able to go and see your horse in the program and see him race, and we were lucky we had a couple good ones. That
Yeah.
just it was fun.
How
It
many
was
how many
fun.
horses did you have?
At the peak, We had 9 or 10 at one time.
Holy cow! I just whenever I heard you had horse, I thought maybe like just 1, 2.
Yeah,
9 or 10.
When we were best was at 2 or 3.
Really?
2 or 3. Like I said, I got a little crazy, got a little overboard with a few of them, but
dude, they'll pull you in too.
Oh,
I never had standard. I've never been
drug,
around
man.
standard bred,
drug.
but I was around Tennessee Walker and those things they'll pull you in, and
horses.
just like I was riding on it too. I remember it was almost animalistic. It was just some primitive.
They're the most majestic.
Oh yeah,
animal.
And if you watch them, they love running.
Yes.
If you're around horses, you realize how much they want to work and they want to run.
They want to do their work. Like
Yeah.
whatever they're trained to do,
They want to do it.
They will work till they die.
They die to do that.
Really?
Like that's just how they're bred. I mean, just
That's awesome.
Your horse you can run a horse till it dies. They will not stop until it dies. If you want it, if you have a good trained horse,
it won't stop until it dies.
Phenomenal athleticism.
Oh yeah.
Where would you race these things?
They raced at we're at Hoosier Park over in Anderson, Indiana, and then also the Ohio tracks. So there's a track in Dayton, Miami Valley, and Scioto Downs.
Oh really?
In Columbus.
Okay. How many races like per year maybe?
If they stayed healthy, we would try to limit to about 25 starts a year.
Okay.
Usually on average, it comes out about twice a week.
Twice a year. Okay.
Twice a week, or I'm sorry, twice a month.
Okay.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah. So like standard breds, like some of them, it all depends on what your program is and how you want to go about it.
Were they cart?
Yeah. So they're pulling the race bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is more standard bred. It's thoroughbreds are more of the
thoroughbreds when you're on their back with a jockey. So you think Kentucky Derby, that's thoroughbred.
Okay.
So they're a lot more high strung. Like a thoroughbred is probably going to race 10 times a year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're really lean too.
Yeah.
I mostly learned about draft horses because that's what my grandparents
they're a whole
raised.
Different.
They're like the Clydesdales. And
right.
He had raised Suffolk folk.
Okay.
And those were just big made for
strong,
pulling a plow.
Yeah.
Which now you don't need them anymore.
Yeah, they were raised kind of to race, So that the Amish are going to have most of those are standard breds.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of retired race horses go to Amish.
Oh, really? Okay.
Pull the horse and buggy, because they're very easy to work with. They're docile, very intelligent, but then also strong enough to do a lot of that stuff.
The Amish, if you want to break a horse right, or
they're very involved in the horse racing
I'm
industry.
a little hesitant
Really?
because they'll see they break. You got to break a colt. Really, you got to get them used to being pulled around
or just being haltered.
Or being haltered. Really,
yeah.
I've heard the Amish like to go. They like to break their spirits, which I'm not a huge fan of. But it's into what you got to have. A lot of horses, you have to do that.
But that all goes back to,
they know what they're doing though.
They're going back to the same way our ancestors did stuff. They haven't changed a whole lot.
Yeah.
And they're all of their horses especially. Talking about a well-trained animal. Perfectly trained. The Amish know how, because they just have done it
over and over again, passed
doing
down
exactly what their ancestors have done.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there's a lot of them in the horse racing.
In Indiana especially.
Amish country.
Yeah. How'd you get into this horse racing stuff?
My dad had horses when he was younger. He didn't get married till he was like 35. So he kind of lived that bachelor lifestyle throughout. So he had horses then.
Okay.
And we always kind of talked about it. And so it's just one of those things that we did at the county fairs together and stuff, and something we always had a mutual interest in. So when I had the tent rental and had some cash around, we always said we're getting a horse. So we gambled and bought an expensive one that nobody else wanted to touch because I had some former injuries that were kind of, and we got really lucky that we took a shot on him, and he held up for a good 2-3 years where he was super successful and led to buying a couple other ones. But
that's a big deal.
Have you?
My great grandpa bought a man killer stallion up in Michigan. It ended up being one of the best horses he ever gotten.
Yeah. It's lucky. I mean, it's all.
Yeah. Have you ever like got too attached to one of the horses?
Yeah, we had to put a couple down. I've had a couple of them I've had to put down.
That's tough.
It sucks, and that's one of the advantages of not being on the farm every day. That you're not quite as attached. Now, fortunately, like our two real good, like we still technically own them. I mean, they're yard ornaments now. I mean, that's kind of what we call them now. I mean, that they're retired and they'll be with my trainer that kind of forever just because they were so good to us. Like we don't.
Wherever they're being boarded at. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, again, like if I had the means or I would bring them here in a heartbeat.
And they're a lot of work.
Oh, but that's the thing.
Realize that, like, you got to, it's like a dog.
Well, I tell the girls, though, it's not like a dog. Like the dog, like
yeah,
we travel a lot. Like, so we're gone a lot.
You can't leave a horse.
So with the dog, one, I can send it to either grandma's house.
Yep.
Okay. Or we can go board her, or we can have a friend come let her out, whatever. It's pretty simple. You can't do that with a horse.
Oh, yeah.
Grandma can't take care of the horse.
You got to throw in a bale of hay.
So now we're asking, now you got to have somebody that can do that. And it's just a whole different ball game that way. And
yeah, because you got a pretty decent backyard at your
we
house
got, we got a little over an acre.
Yeah, you need a lot of.
But,
like
I mean, there's just. There's land behind us that I would love to buy that feel like I told Jamie that
but
the other day.
farm. If it's farmland,
the farm, I'm not selling it.
but
if they had, there's 8 acres behind us. Like
that'd be awesome.
It'd be perfect. I could have a couple cows and a couple horses. And
yeah. So you said you're going with some chickens?
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try the chickens. To me, that's an 8-week investment. I can do that. We're gonna do the meat chicken, the broilers, and
we don't eat ours. Ours they're fighting cocks.
Oh yeah,
that's what they're bred for. They're bred for fighting.
Yeah.
So they're really muscly and really gamey.
Yeah.
So we don't eat them, but their eggs are so they're dark orange because the amount of protein in them.
Yeah.
And so we really just go and get their eggs.
Yeah, this first group's going to be strictly just for meat.
Just meat. Okay.
Because
you gonna show your girls how to boil and feather it?
I'm gonna pay somebody to do that. I don't.
Oh, come on! You did
that.
so much research on keto. Maybe you can start doing some research on it.
I could, but I don't. I'm not a big.
It's so easy though. Trust me. You just get a big boiling pot, and then you just dump the chicken in, and then all the feathers you just pull them right out.
That's not.
Are you gonna build like a chicken coop, or are you just gonna?
We're gonna do like a chicken tractor.
Okay.
So like a 10 by 12 kind of portable box, really.
Yeah, that's
portable,
a good idea.
Okay, yeah,
Move them around.
So you move them every single day.
Yeah.
Because they will mat down in your yard if you got a yard.
Yeah. So, and then I've thought about like possibly getting like one of those electric nets so like they could be out during the day too, so they kind of free range.
Okay.
But still it just goes back to the whole rotational.
That's how steers are raised.
I would do the same thing with cows, sheep.
Yeah.
Any animal I'd have,
you rotate your grazing pattern.
You rotate them every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best thing for the grass. And then you can get more animals on smaller land just because you're more efficient. I mean, it goes back to you're imitating nature. I mean,
exactly.
That's what they do.
They walked around and
it's just crazy. Like I've never. This whole keto diet and everything's just like
opens your eyes.
It's changed my whole outlook on so many things.
I think just trying to take care of yourself, trying to be healthier, just changes everything. You open your eyes to so much new things. I'm like, holy cow, I can do this. I can do this.
You realize like the benefits of life.
Wow.
It's just like, oh crap. Like maybe that was the reason why I was feeling like shit all the time.
Right.
It's like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, like I changed it. Now I actually want to go out and get stuff done and accomplish what I want to accomplish.
Oh, I mean, it's a totally different outlook, and you get more in tune with your body, which is it's pretty crazy. Like I weigh myself every morning just because I do. I'm not attached to the scale. I really don't care about that number, but I can about dial it in now. Like I don't even need this guy. I can tell you what I weigh every morning just from knowing what I ate or what I did the day before.
I don't even know the last
sweet.
time I weighed myself. I've never weighed myself, just because I never really needed to.
Right, and it was just one of those things as you're going through. Like I knew I
weight loss,
to
especially
lose weight, and it's just something I've always done. I don't know, like I'm like parents
That's what I
are that
mean. It's
way,
almost just
too.
like
I
a
don't know.
habit.
Yeah.
It's a habit at that point.
So now that's kind of way just to check yourself all the time. But unfortunately, for about 10 years, I knew I never wanted to look at the thing because I knew I wasn't fueling it the right way.
Now I have a question about these chickens. Now, what about the poop?
Poop's good.
Free fertilizer.
I know that, but like if it maybe gets too much,
well,
that's why you move them every day.
Well, plus
just move it every day, like probably just.
So you go in a pattern
too.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna go up, and that's why if you stay in the tractor, it's only gonna be in that 10 by 12 area all the time.
Yeah.
So essentially, like you need like enough room to be able to move that thing 30 times.
Okay.
And then once you do that, like they're gonna be ready for butcher, and so it'd never go back over the same grass again.
Okay.
Otherwise, like it's supposed to be like a rest period, like the magic number, like 45 days or something like that.
45 days
is what it's supposed. So like same thing with your cows or sheep or anything like that. You can keep rotating them, and the ideal thing is you want to follow cows and sheep with chicken, because the chicken are going to get out and they're going to scratch and tear up the manure and eat all the larvae
the
out of it
bugs
and all
around
that.
the manure.
So they're going to be your fly control, number one, but then they're going to scratch and spread all that manure for you, which fertilizes even more than just your cow patty. Now they're going to scratch it and move it.
God damn, look at that fucking nature.
And that's like, you don't even need to, if you have large enough areas, like when we had raised cows, we just had 50 acres of just pasture, and they naturally will just move area to area.
Right.
Like they're not going to just sit. They'll naturally
well, yeah, I mean, you got to
move around. Where like
bugs
now,
will start moving, you got to start moving.
Well, like in big steer farms now, they'll have like a 20-acre plot of land and divide it into 5-acre plots, and then they'll switch it every week. They'll switch it 5 acre to the next 5 acres.
The ones the newest guys that are really on top of it, they'll move them every day or twice a day.
Oh yeah, you move them every day
because they're using just polywire. They're using one strand. I mean, these cows are trained to it now, so they're using one strand. So they're divvying up your pasture in just one little section, so they got enough grass to eat for that, whatever you set up to it, for that 12 hours or 24 hours. But now they're going to eat that whole thing. And not down all the way, but like they want them to eat like the top half.
Yeah.
But then the next day you move that wire, and boom, they're flying over that next section and
because there's food.
A new salad bar. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've thought about buying some goats and renting them out, because we had goats, and those things are lawnmowers.
Yes.
Goats will eat everything.
Goats will literally. I remember watching my goat eat the shirt off my brother's back.
Yeah.
He had like one of those Hawaiian silk shirts. I remember Bucky, it was a goat, and he just took a chunk out of it and just ate it right off.
They say the goats are so hard to fence in.
Oh, they're impossible.
If water can get through a fence, goat can get through a fence.
Well, pigs too. Pigs are smarter than dogs.
I've heard pigs are real smart.
Pigs you can train to the hot wire though too.
Yeah. Well, our goats, we trained them to our electric fence.
Yeah.
But the problem was once they realized like, this is just going to shock me for a second, but if I just bolt through this thing, I'm good.
Yeah.
And so they got it. Now we ended up having to put like 4-foot high metal graded fence to keep them in, just because they would go and test the waters. They would go and touch the electric fence, would shock them. And then once they realized like, oh, it just shocked me for a second, they just bolted straight through and just destroyed the whole fence.
Oh, that's funny.
And then they would go in our garage, because we kept the corn. They knew exactly where the food was. Go in, and I would come home and open the garage door, and there's Bucky and Patches, our goats, just.
I've read and heard many horror stories about goats.
Oh my gosh!
But the pigs, you can raise them on pasture too.
You just gotta be careful; they'll furrow quick if they don't have enough roots. The ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
They shove their nose in it and just make it all muddy. If you don't move them around enough.
But you also, a lot of them will use that for that purpose. They want them to go root, and they become like
that's true. A lot of people need them to root, because if you have turnips or something like that as cover crop, you gotta have them root. Yeah. But like that's why a lot of them, you'll see pigs with a ring in through their nose, so they don't dig their nose in the ground, root the ground.
Oh no shit. Oh, okay.
Because they'll pull on the ring. That's the worst. I put a ring on a couple pigs, and they're just squeal like hell. They do not like. I don't blame them either.
Oh, yeah.
Putting a ring through the middle of their nose, but
that's the one thing.
Pigs are tough. Though.
I'd like to eat pigs, but I don't know if I can. I
wouldn't want to raise them.
They scare me a little bit though, because I mean,
they
can get mean, and they got They actually have
They'll
teeth
bite.
that
They'll
can,
bite.
that can go at you. You know, you stay with the sheep and the cows. I mean,
Well, the
they ain't
cows
hurting
though,
you.
They don't care. All the
They
ones
ain't
just
hurting you.
we had a steer that was partially castrated. It still had one nut, and so it got a lot bigger than the other ones. It gained a lot of its upper body, and I would always play around with it. I would grab they have this little crown on the top of their head. I'll pull it down to the I'll push his head into the ground, and he would like kneel up and just play with me, and we'd play around, and then like I'd do it a couple times, and he would jump around and all happy and everything. I remember one time he was smart enough where he knew what I was going to do. He let me push his head down on the ground. And then right when I got him to the ground, he used his neck and just lifted his head straight up and tossed me about 15 feet across the barn. Like,
They're strong,
I'm not lying.
man. That's
Their
crazy.
neck. The bull, like if you go watch some bull riding, they'll throw a rider some
bull,
of them
man,
20 feet away. Like I remember I hit that wall and I was just like, damn. And the problem was like, once I hit the wall, it kind of knocked the air out of me, and then he wanted to play more. So he was jumping around like, they like came and got like they like to like kind of come and hit you with their head a little bit. But boy, that gave me a little. Those were one of the few times I was just like actually nervous about something around me.
You don't want to mess with the bull. Sometimes you get the horns.
Oh yeah, we didn't have any horns, luckily.
That's like one of my bucket lists. I've always wanted to go to Spain and run with the bulls.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I've always wanted to do that. That'd be super fun.
Maybe if I was around,
Scary,
if I raised the
fun.
bull, I would be fine with it. But the problem is once if you're those animals that are just purely, you never realize how much testosterone actually affects animals unless you've been around a bull or a stallion.
Oh,
They will flip. Something will just trigger them so fast that you would like before you even can think. That's the problem. That's why they always say you never turn your back on a stallion.
Yeah, we never. That's one thing we never. All of our horses were always gelded.
Yeah,
we only dealt with gelding just because they're nuts.
Yeah, you don't no idea what they're gonna do.
They're nuts.
And that's just the
nuts.
testosterone. Yeah. Just that little bit of testosterone added.
That's why men have that hot head.
Oh,
Man.
They are crazy.
Well, yeah, the stallions, they said it for a reason. Never turn your back on a stallion because, boy, they'll snap. Something will just make them snap. Maybe you didn't give enough feed or something like that, but boy.
Oh, well. Well, we've been going for 52 minutes now, haven't we? This one.
You want to call it?
Yeah, that's
Sounds
fine.
good.
Well, we just had Bret Baucher, ladies and gentlemen. Bret Baucher.
It's a good talk.
I
Thoroughly enjoyed this, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.
We always like to get to know people.
Yeah,
everyone's got their own stories that are just interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of fun. So.
Yeah, we'll see if you want to come back later on once we get a little bit more stuff.
I'd love to do it again.
And have some more stories. But
good
ladies and
deal.
gentlemen, Bret Baucher.
Hey, thank you.
Peace.